All right, so Bitcoin has made another lower low. We came right into this box of support that I was looking at in my last few videos, and we have since gotten a very quick buyback. We actually, on the 1 hour, SFP'd the last lower low in this 1 hour downtrend, you can say. We failed to confirm a lower low here. We failed to basically continue the downtrend. So I want to go over the last few trades that I took. I want to go over my levels and how they changed and how my plans have changed. And then I also want to go over market cipher on some of the higher time frames, because some of these time frames are starting to show a little bit of hope for the bulls, in my opinion. So firstly, price came down into that 3-hour order block that I was looking at. It came down below the value area low of this larger range, and we also came back down below this wick, which was, if you're ignoring this little bit of internal structure that we have here, you could say it was the, last low in a downtrend, at least very, internally inside of this range that we're in. I don't think it means too much, but we have SFP'd this wick. We have, on the 1 hour, gotten only wicks below that level. The candlesticks closed above that low, and we've gotten a very quick buyback, and that is a sign of weakness for this downtrend. It shows that price does not want to continue in a downtrend here, and so maybe it will work its way up towards the highs, try and begin some sort of an uptrend here. Or maybe we just come up and SFP these highs and then continue back down to the lows. That's possible as well. And I did long this level. You can see I did not have a great entry here. I entered somewhere up in this area. I don't think this is exactly accurate, but I entered somewhere up here. I was late to this. I got my alert, but I was in the middle of doing something. And when I was checking the chart on my phone, there weren't many signs on the low time frames that gave me, confidence to want to take an aggressive entry here. I mean, we did actually see some bull divs on this 3-minute, but the money flow was getting lower. So I kind of decided to just be a little bit more patient with it and, wait for some, kind of higher time frame confirmations. I did notice that on the 24-minute, we were forming some very bullish divergences here, with momentum and money flow getting higher as the price made that lower low. Stemming from all the way back here, we started forming the divergences. And so that, along with the 1 hour SFP that we were seemingly getting, and also the divergence on this 1 hour as well, with, a slight increase in money flow right there. I think that was a slight divergence from this low to that low. Money flow was increasing as well. So there were some, bullish signs definitely as we got a bounce off of that level. There were a few other reasons that I was willing to take, that trade with a crappy entry and, just hope that price doesn't come back down below the 786. And that was basically because we saw, first, as price got that move down below those lows, a massive decrease of open interest, a lot of trades getting stopped out and or liquidated. And, we saw price go from 450 million to like 435 million, about 15 million in long volume getting removed from the market. And then very soon after, we first did see some very local absorption at that low. People were shorting, around this area as price was making a higher low. And then we also saw a bunch of people start longing right around this area. So all that together pretty much, gave me more confidence in that trade. Made me feel like we probably were going to get a move to the upside. The decrease in open interest kind of shows weakness in the move to the downside, shows that it was just a liquidity grab. And, if you kind of zoom out on a higher time frame, that was like the largest decrease of open interest we had in a while. So, that liquidity grab definitely worked. That move served its purpose. And then afterwards, we saw absorption right at the lows, followed by, people starting to enter long. So, like I said, I had my stop loss somewhere down below the 786. Really crappy entry with this one, but I missed a lot of trades this week because my levels got hit when I wasn't like at my computer, and I wasn't trying to do that again. I was willing to take the risk, and I mean, I hit my first TP very quickly up here at the VWAP, at this previous support, and yeah, I mean, since then we've kind of gotten a move up towards what you could say is like resistance in terms of like the trend line we have here. Actually, on another chart, I have marked out this kind of channel that we're trading in. So, it's a kind of rough one because we came below the lows here. And, you could draw like that just to kind of match that last wick we got down here. Or you can, I don't know, pull it out here. Either way, it doesn't fit perfectly. But, we are kind of respecting the midpoint of the channel. We had support here, some support right here before we got another move to the upside. And, yeah, we came up to the top of the channel, and that is where we started finding some resistance. And I did also take another little scalp long right here off of VWAP, which VWAP is different on MEXC for some reason, but looks like that trade has now hit TP1. Reason I took this trade basically just because 12-minute money flow is continuing to increase. I saw, this wave starting to form down here. It was looking pretty nice. The 6-minute was looking decent. Money flow starting to get a little turn to the upside when I entered there. And we also saw a pretty large decrease of open interest as we came down to test VWAP. So that gave me a little bit more confidence in taking a little scalp there. And another thing I noticed was, kind of just going back in recent price action. Once price gets a move above VWAP and then comes back down to test it, we usually get some kind of reaction off of it. So that was one example right there. That was not a good example because we didn't really come down to test VWAP until VWAP snapped price. But right here's another example. Price pumped above VWAP, came back down to test it. We then got a, massive move to the upside. We came up to put in new highs, but, even if you just traded this, you still could have gotten a nice scalp off of there and, maybe put your stop loss to entry. So just kind of a trend I noticed, and, I was kind of willing to take a little scalp on that. There's kind of another example. We got to move above VWAP, came back down to test it. So yeah, that was just a little scalp trade I took, and we just hit TP1 on that. Did we come up to hit the golden pocket? We front ran it a little bit. That is why I front run my TPs though. And now let's see, where do I want to put my stop? Probably down below the VWAP still, down below the 786. I could put it at my entry, but if this was a more important trade to me, if I, secured more at TP1, I probably would just lock in the profits, but it was just a little scalp, so I'll probably try and stay in this position if I can, and, risk a break even with this. So now, let's quickly go through Market Cipher, and then I will go over my, key levels and how they've changed. So I don't have to talk about the weekly much. Weekly is still very bullish in my opinion. I've already gone over that many times. 3-day, we did just get a red dot on this momentum wave, but not looking super weak when you consider money flow, even though we did get a divergence here with momentum. And if this 3-day candle closes with that red dot, so in 2 days, 10 hours, if we still have that red dot there, it'll be a confirmed divergence. But, we did get a divergence here as well, confirmed, and that did bring us down a lot, but it was just a retracement. 2-day is pretty much the same. Actually, we did have a slight divergence with money flow at those highs, so that is slightly more bearish for sure. And we have already confirmed one red dot there. Now we're printing another one. And the daily, this is starting to get a little bit more bearish. Money flow making a lower low in the red. Momentum kind of getting a turn to the downside after confirming this divergence. Yeah, that was a divergence because we made a higher high. So, daily is looking pretty bearish. You have to acknowledge that. But then you come to the 12-hour, and this is where I start to see the possibility of some hope. So, you know, if you kind of draw a trend line from this wave up to here, and this was actually looking better earlier before the candle printed, or was I looking at it on the 8-hour? Well, on the 8-hour, yeah, maybe I was looking at it here. You can see very good direction with momentum, and we were just printing that green dot. I think on the 12-hour, before this green dot printed, you know, I was thinking maybe if we printed a green dot right here, we could see continuation with that. I don't think this means much, though, that we printed a green dot below this kind of trend line here. Either way, you know, if you look at it on the 8-hour, you can see good direction here. And money flow, I mean, yeah, it came down a lot here, but it's starting to get a turn to the upside. And, you know, you could say that overall, we haven't really started a downtrend with this money flow. We could just come up and kind of continue that growth. Now, the 6-hour definitely has started a downtrend with the money flow here. You know, very clearly we came down, came up, came down. Now we are very close to the 0 line. So, yeah, 6-hour looks pretty bearish, honestly. You know, momentum and money flow getting a serious turn to the downside here. And, you know, 4-hour is looking very iffy at the moment. You know, momentum has turned around. You know, we printed bottoms here. Momentum getting a move to the upside. Money flow getting a move into the green after being in the red for a little bit. And, you know, from here, I would look at the time frames below the 4-hour to see if there's a chance of, like, continuation with this money flow. And I didn't get much from the 3-hour. The 2-hour money flow is in the red. You know, momentum has come up a good amount, and money flow is starting to get a move to the upside. And actually, looking at price, you can see that we have formed a hidden bullish divergence with momentum and money flow. Momentum and money flow on the 2-hour made lower lows as opposed to back here, and price made a higher low. So that is something to consider. A hidden bullish div on the 2-hour, and the 1-hour money flow starting to look pretty good on this 1-hour. You know, it is showing decent direction here. Kind of locally was getting a move to the upside. Now it's, you know, flattening out a little bit. But you could definitely make a case that money flow is starting to come back in on the 1-hour. And 24-minute money flow making local higher highs, starting to come in on the midterm time frames. 12-minute is looking pretty good as well. You know, money flow is getting pretty thick. We just printed another trigger wave down here. You can see that direction. So I'd say, you know, it is possible based on the midterm time frames and how some of these larger time frames are looking. You know, it is definitely showing the potential for bullishness, I would say. And in my opinion, showing that, you know, we could very easily get a move up towards the highs of the range, up towards the value area high, up towards the CME gap. And that is pretty much the level I am most interested in to the upside. You know, my upside targets haven't really changed much. This high up here is now a bit more significant since we took out this low and since we SFP'd it. You know, there is a higher likelihood that we come up for this high. And you could also mark that high right there. That's a new high that might have some liquidity above it. It's right at the value area high as well. But yeah, I am still most interested in this CME gap, considering there is still probably liquidity up above these highs and probably now up above this high. Yeah, overall my upside targets haven't changed much other than this high and this high now being a bit more significant. And for support levels, you know, we can delete that 3-hour order block and now add a line on this wick. You know, we have now a wick that we could SFP down there, and it is right above an untapped daily level that we have at 27,115. This is also previous resistance in this little consolidation range down here. So I'd say that this is significant. Also, the 786 is down here as well, and we still haven't tapped that. So, you know, I would be watching for an SFP of that wick into some of these key levels. And also, I'm still watching those lows down there. Honestly, we could SFP either of them. You know, if you want to, you could also mark out that wick right there, just in case we get SFP confirmations there, and, you know, you really want to take an aggressive scalp on that. But I would be more interested in those lows down there. And, I mean, yeah, other than that, those are pretty much the levels I'm interested in. If we start getting another move to the downside, and we start seeing something like absorption into the golden pocket, then, that's something that's significant. That's something I'd be aware of. But, right now, these are really the levels that I'm focusing on. All right, well, I think that's about it for this one. Thank you all for watching the video. Really appreciate it. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I will see you all in the next one.